Welcome to this quick video demonstrating the manual trade helper. If you're ever in a manual discretionary trade, or you want to make one, and you also want to make sure that your trade is 100% managed with tons of different trailing stop and take profit options, then this is the indicator that you want to use. Many exchanges that you place your orders on will not have the type of options that this indicator does. So this indicator allows you to use them. Okay, let me take you inside the manual trade helper settings and options and show you what it can do. Now, first of all, what I have on the chart here, this is a trade that I took manually that I'm in. This is on the euro dollar on the daily chart on Owanda. And since I didn't have an algorithm that I was going to use for this specific trade, I wanted to still have it managed though. So what you can do with this is set it up like this. So the place where I entered was 1.0804, which I have indicated by this horizontal blue line right here. And what you do with the manual trade helper is you type in the date that you took your trade. So here I took it on 5/18 of 2020. And you type in your time zone and your exchange offset. And your time zone offset is here for your exchange, and you can Google your exchange time offset to find out what it is. This is -4 for Owanda. Now, I also typed in the entry price, which was the 1.0804, and you can see this green arrow now comes up, which shows you the bar candle that you entered on. And what I have too right now as a take profit is just something very wide. I have it if it hits 2 to take profit, although it might take literally months or years for that to ever happen. But if you want to have an exit price, you can do that. But if you wanted to make it much smaller, for example, let's say maybe 1.25, you'll see that now appear on the screen. So if price touches this, then the trade will be exited. So you can do that with your exit price. You can also take longs or shorts. I'm in a long right now. Now, where this really shines is the stop loss and take profit options. Now, let me show you what those look like, what you can do. So I'm going to zoom in a little closer. I'm also going to put my take profit back to what I had before at 2. Okay, for stop loss options. So what you can do with that is you can use 2 different types of options for fixed stop loss. You can use where you entered from, or you can use the previous high-low to calculate your stop loss. So here you could type in any percent amount of stop loss. It can be 1/100%, it can be 100%, whatever you want. So in this example, I'm using 0.5%, and that is from the previous bar. So once this bar closes, now it's considered as the previous bar, and 0.5% from that is right there. Also, if you wanted to just use from entry, let me show you that. So from entry now, which is this blue horizontal line, it is 0.5%. So that's how the stop loss works. Now, if you wanted to change that to something a lot smaller, you'll see how it'll move up. So you have literally all kinds of options to do with that via entry or previous high-low. You could also, if you don't want to do percent, if you are trading Forex like I have here and you want to use maybe ticks or pips, you can do that instead. Let me show you what that looks like. There's a 500 pip, 1,000 pips. You can do ticks for stocks also. Now, if you don't want to use a fixed stop loss percent, maybe you want to use average true range, you can do that. And I have built in here, you can use all kinds of different multiple time frames. So you can use your 1-minute charts all the way up to monthly charts to create the look back period for what you're looking for on the average true range. So here I'm currently, I'm not using it for my stop loss, but if you wanted to, I'll just demonstrate it to you real quick. If I wanted to use a 20-day period with, say, maybe a 2 ATR, I could do that. If I wanted to maybe use it on the hourly time frame, I could do that also, 4-hour time frame. So I had to look at those time frames in the background and calculate that for you, which is really, really neat for your ATR stop loss options. And you can adjust this also to the 100th percent on your ATR stop loss. So very powerful average true range stop loss options. You can also here move your stop loss to break even. As soon as your trade gets into profit, you can see how as soon as this bar closed, now the stop loss moved to my entry right here. If you want to put your initial stop loss at break even before the candle even closes, you can do that. If you want to use a trailing stop, widen. Let me take off my average true range stop loss. Okay, so if you wanted to use a fixed percent, you can do that. You can also use pips or ticks if you want to, but let me change this a couple different ways. If I made it a lot smaller, you can see we got closed out over here. If I made it a lot wider, we're actually still in the trade, but we would have closed the trade over here. We want to use pips or ticks. Do something like 5,000 pips. Let's do 25,000 pips. Let's see how that works. So a lot of different options for your trailing stops. You can use percent, pips, or ticks, and this is adjustable to the 100th percent. Now your trailing stop, you can also adjust it to trail via the close of the bar or the high or low of the bar. So a lot of different options there. Let me show you how that works. See, now it's trailing the close of this bar, 1.25%. It got closed out there. You can do it from the close of the bar, the low of the bar, so however you want. And you have one for longs and one for shorts. Now you also have the same thing with the average true range, which is what I'm currently using on this particular strategy. I actually had a setting of 4 on there, I'm sorry. Oops, wrong one, 4. Okay. And again, you have a multi-time frame option for your average true range trailing stop also. So if you want to use a smaller time frame, you certainly can do that. I'm using a daily one with a 20 period look back and a multiple of 4, but you can change this to any percent that you want, the 100th percent. Make it smaller, larger, whatever you like. That's how that works. You also have here a Connors RSI initial stop loss, and that's a very adaptive way of using stop losses sometimes in the markets. You can use that also. So let me go to a daily time frame, and we'll close the long if it goes beneath 1. Let me put this on default settings here. Usually it's a 3,200 for the Connors RSI. So no areas where we would have got stopped out with it. A bit of a smaller setting. As long as it goes below 5. Okay, so those settings did not happen, or that criteria did not happen in this particular log here, but you could use that if you wanted to, and the Connors RSI you could use with any of these other options. One thing you can't do is you can't use your ATR and your fixed stop at the same time because they would cancel each other out. You also can't use your average true range stop loss and your fixed stop loss at the same time as they would cancel each other out. But if you're using one or the other, you could use a fixed stop loss with an average true range trailing stop, like what I'm doing. or you could use an average true range stop loss with a fixed trailing stop. And then you could use any of those with Connor's RSI. Okay, moving on, we have the take profit option. So I already showed you one of them, to where if it hits a certain target level, you can exit immediately. You can also take profit a couple different ways. Here we have one of the ways you can do it is we have a take profit indicator of the Bollinger Bands or Keltner channels. Let me actually configure these. Let's do a 20 length. Okay, so if we wanted to exit, if price exited the Bollinger Band, we could exit via a take profit. Let me make that a little more responsive. Okay, so here we see that from our entry, price exited the Bollinger Band here, and that would have exited our trade. You can do the same thing with Keltner channels. You want to use those as a take profit. And you can adjust their settings here, any length, any multiplier. You can change the indicator source. You can change the basis, which is the simple moving average. You can change that to an EMA or even a whole moving average, which can give you different results. Some can be more flexible in the markets. In addition to the Keltner channel and Bollinger Bands, you also have a percentage from entry. So if your trade ever gets, let's see, for example, 4% from where I entered here, we could exit immediately. So you could have that set up also. You can also do that with ticks or pips. So if you wanted to exit when trade got 40,000 pips, you could exit your trade like that. And you could use this and you take profit at the same time. We also have an average true range take profit, which is also adjustable on the multi-time frame. And to show you what that looks like, this was 10 ATR of what this was, and we exited the trade here if we would have had that turned on. And same thing with this Connor's RSI take profit. So you can adjust your settings here and look for conditions based on that. If you could also use their Connor's RSI, you can actually use all of these take profits at the same time, and whatever condition happens first is where you'll be exited at. So you see we were exited here on the percentage from entry. We take that off and go back to our simple moving average. We were exited there also. Let me take the ATR off. If I take profit indicator off, now we'll exit up here. So you can use any of these by themselves or together. And that's it for the manual trade helper. It's just a way to really manage your trades manually, to automate it. So to bring it all together and to automate it, you have the ability to also use Tradingview alerts. And that allows you to automate your strategy completely. So any of the conditions you specify in the indicator can be controlled by the indicator alerts. And then these alerts you can have sent to your phone via SMS text message, or they can be emailed to you. And you can even use the Tradingview alerts to automatically and instantly send your order to the exchange that you trade on, so you can be 100% fully automated after you entered the trade. And to do that, you would just click on Create Alert. The condition you would choose would be the manual trade helper. That's what we're using. And then we have this exit triggered. So after you enter, whenever your take profit gets hit or your stop loss gets hit, this exit triggered is the alert that will fire, and you would exit once per bar, and you would set up here your alert name. So you could be like, your USD exit manual trade. Put your message down here, whatever you wanted to say, or your syntax for the exchange, create the alert. This will always say this. It does not repaint, so don't worry about that. This is just a standard Tradingview message whenever you use indicators or strategies that have the possibility of doing that. And there you go. So now your alert is fully automated when that condition happens, if and when it happens. In this case, it already happened, so you would have been exited. But with where I'm currently using, which is my ATR here. Let me take the take profits off because I'm just trailing price right now. So as soon as this ATR trailing stop gets hit, I will be exited via this alert here, and that's it. I don't have to watch this chart. I don't have to manage it. It's all managed. It's all just trailing right now. So that's how this manual trade helper works. Hopefully that helped. Enjoy the indicator and hopefully helps your trading. Thank you.